Join us at Women of Courage and celebrate the achievements of women. Before we begin, we're going to take a few moments to collect ourselves and to relax before we engage into our discussion. What we need to do is to focus now on bringing positive energy into our lives and into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We have all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our lives will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we can do this is by changing our outlook, meeting every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism, and once you do this, you will see a change in yourself. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life: family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning when you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons why your life is amazing. You will see the change. You will be changed. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful and think positive. The Women of Courage show is being broadcast by the Women and Children's Restoration Ministries to help you problem solve, to help you dream again, to help you believe that anything is possible. We want you to believe that you do not have to marry the first man you meet just to get someone to take care of you. You do not have to live a life of drudgery. You can educate yourself. All you have to do is learn to read competently. We want you to take a chance on yourself. Stop believing all the soothsayers around you that have never left a state in their lives. People who do not have courage to fly. People who only think of lying, cheating, and stealing. You can live an exciting life. All you have to do is believe that you can make your dreams come true. You do not have to go to bed with someone you despise day in and day out. You have the right to marry someone that you can talk to someone that believes in you and has faith in you as a human being. In other words, you do not have to settle for just anyone. But what you must do is strive toward your goal. You must be goal oriented. You must organize yourself. You must be clear about what you want in life and why you want such a life. All of us are made up of dreams. As our dreams unfold in our lives, our spirit soars. Realizing our dreams becomes a problem because oftentimes we are beaten down by our friends and family. We are beaten down at school by people laughing at us because of our shoe size, our ear size, our breast size, the clothes we wear, etc. We are beaten down by people saying nothing will come of our lives. We are beaten down when our mothers and grandmothers constantly say that we're going to be just like our father, an inmate in prison. Many of us are also discouraged when our mothers are inattentive. She is wrapped up in her new boyfriend. but life anew is possible. It is my job to encourage you to go as far as you can dream and as far as your dreams can take you. It is my job to get you to believe in life again. I am sick and tired of people failing at life just because they are around negative speaking and negative acting people. Do not let the failure of other people make you lose confidence in yourself. Yes, you may be surrounded by poverty, but you must look for a way out. The book, If You Believe in God, You Do Not Belong in Prison, will help you. What you must do above all else is learn to read competently. You must read, and read. Anyone who laughs at you for reading, you need to leave that person alone. I do not care if it's your mother. Anyone who discourages you, you are to stop all association. Man is not different than plants. We need encouragement to grow as plants need water to thrive. You are to leave foolish, stupid people alone. Their ignorance will weigh you down or even get you killed. Sit down and think how you can avoid these people, especially if they're in your family. If you are overwhelmed with the tiring feeling that feels as if you're carrying a bag of stone around every morning when you get out of bed and think how you'll have to spend another living life you're not passionate about, the books I suggest are the perfect solution for your unique needs. Not only will we help you realize why these feelings overwhelm you and what you can do to change it, but they will also teach you how to live a life of strength, courage, fearlessness in order to realize all of your dreams. If you are lacking the attitude and psychology, proper resource or vision to make your dreams a reality, combined with dissatisfaction with the execution of your plans, but you remain firmly dedicated to making your ambition a reality and creating the life you deserve, you will certainly derive the most benefit from professional, incredible content within these books. Contents that will assist you in achieving the results that you are after. You are never to give up on yourself. Are you ready to leave your future to chance? Of course not. Take your life in your hand and learn all the necessary tools, mindset, strategies used by the men and women of courage, used in order to live the life of their dream. Change your life with our book starting today. We're going to continue our discussion of domestic violence. The reason for this is that domestic violence should not only be discussed once a year during the month to where it's recognized by the community. Domestic violence should always be discussed until we can get rid of this evilness in our community. Today we're going to discuss the cycle of violence. What is the cycle of violence? In many violent relationships, the same things may happen over and over again. Not all relationships follow this cycle of violence, but many go through these three stages: tension building, explosion, and I'm sorry. Tension building. No matter what you do, you can't please your partner. Your partner may shout, blame, criticize, threaten, call you names, or refuse to speak to you. The explosion period. The explosion can be verbal, physical, or sexual rape. The batterer may scream, yell, shove, slap, hit, punch, kick, break things, or even use weapons to frighten and to control you. The I'm sorry period. After the explosion, batterers may promise it will never happen again. Some may cry or bring you flowers and gifts. Some may threaten to kill you or themselves if you leave. Things may be calm for a while, then the cycle begins again. What you can do. When the tension starts building, pay attention to your feelings. Are you tense, fearful, or on edge? Don't minimize or deny the danger. Don't try to argue or reason. You can't change a batterer's mind or his behavior. Get away if you can. Don't say you're leaving. This may put you in more danger. During the explosion period, protect yourself. This is the most important thing. Get away if you can. Try to avoid unsafe areas in the home. Stay away from the kitchen where knives are kept, the basement or garage where tools are stored, and any room with guns. Avoid rooms with hard surfaces and only one exit, such as the bathroom. More women are killed every year in the bathroom. If you are being hit, protect your face with your hands and arms. If you're knocked down, curl up in the ball on the floor and continue to protect your face and head. If you hear the words, "I'm sorry," know that no matter what the batterer says, without professional help, the violence will probably happen again. Get help for yourself. Find out how to be safer when the violence happens again. An apology does not mean that the violence will stop. The violence is not your fault. Battering is not your fault. The batterer is the one who has the problem and the one who needs to get help. You might feel confused. Many women who are battered feel ashamed, afraid, guilty, or humiliated. They think they shouldn't be able to make it stop. They can't. Violence is dangerous and unpredictable. It may not follow a cycle. If it does, the time between explosion tends to get shorter. In the future, there may be no "I'm sorry" stage. Violence usually keeps happening. Without professional help, it may get worse over time. The batterer may eventually kill you or himself or both of you. Do not listen to anyone who tells you that the abuse is your fault. No one ever deserves to be battered. You may not be able to control your batterer, but you can take steps to be safer. You can get help. Call the Women's Crisis Line in your community. They can tell you what resources are available, or you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. I repeat, 1-800-799-7233. Make a list of family and friends who could help in any emergency. Ask what they would be willing to do. They can seek you to take you to a shelter, provide transportation or money, etc. You can also join a support group. You'll learn more about domestic violence. Groups for battered women can give you information, comfort, and support. Find out your legal rights. There are ways to keep a batterer away from you, your home, and your children. Call a women's shelter or the County Bar Association to learn what to do. Get counseling. Find a counselor who understands domestic violence and is sensitive to those who have been through it. Ask a women's shelter to refer you to someone. You can also go to a shelter in place where you and your children can stay for a while. Shelters offer safety, counseling, and support while you decide what you want to do next. You need to get help for yourself and have a good place to stay safely. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now,
I can tell you, this will be the hardest thing you have ever experienced. That moment when you decide to risk everything to follow your dreams. But when you realize it is possible, that this is no longer a dream, this is a reality, you will change. The hustle will be born. But you need to believe in the process. Countless hours, sleepless nights, leaving nothing on the table, because we can't let this one fail. We won't let this one fail. We grind because we have to now. We push because we have to now. There is no wait for this dream. Every move is calculated, every decision is planned and executed. You've got one shot to make this count. No room for regrets in this life. We dream big, we push big, we grind big, we live big. So tell me, are you dreaming or are you pushing?
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Don't be discouraged. Yes, you can live a life you want to and be the person you want to. Be a goal-getter. Take this bold step to order and purchase these life-changing books so as to learn the detail of the struggles and limitations women faced before becoming the icons they are today. Then you can avoid mistakes too. I'm going to be honest with you here. There's only one inspirational book which has encouraged me not to be fearful as a woman, but to take a bold but little step to changing my low self-esteem and total life situation positively, so quickly and greatly. My little secret has been the book's titled Women of Courage. This book has been so amazing and knowledge-packed. Before now, there hasn't really been a right, perfect time to do the right or perfect thing. Most often than not, I've continued to wait for the right time to have things done, but it always never comes. Not until I got hold of the books, Women of Courage. To gain knowledge and becoming a woman of purpose, only then I was able to create the perfect and right time to grab every opportunity that confronted me. I was strong and determined never to get too comfortable and to stop growing. I was able to use and control my anger and temper for the right course. I became the woman of courage that was not deterred of what people say. I created and took advantage of every opportunity where people saw as limitations. Thanks to the story of many courageous and determined women of history. Interesting, isn't it? The success story of many women who read the book convinced me. Here I am, more refined, courageous, and living the kind of life I have always hoped for. You too can become the woman of courage and purpose everyone would admire, just like me.
This right here, this is the moment right before the day starts when you get to look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are. Now, you've been through some dark days. I believe that. But all that pain and struggle, that made the person you're looking at now. So when you walk out of these doors today, I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to believe you are the strongest person walking this planet. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know the grind it took for you to be here. So when you leave here today, I need you to show them. This right here, this is the moment right before the day starts when you get to look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are. Now, you've been through some dark days. I believe that. But all that pain and struggle, that made the person you're looking at now. So when you walk out of these doors today, I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to believe you are the strongest person walking this planet. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know the grind it took for you to be here. So when you leave here today, I need you to show them. What we need to focus on now is bringing positive energy into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We've all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. People feel better being in their presence. That's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our life will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we do this is by changing our outlook, leading every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism. And once you do this, you will see the change. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons of why your life is amazing. And once you do this, you will see the change. You will be the change. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful. And think positive.
Let me again give you the definition. What is domestic violence? Domestic violence is abusing a partner physically, emotionally, or sexually. That is what is called domestic violence. It is always called battering. Battering is a physical force used to control or to hurt someone. Batterers hit, slap, kick, push, or sexually assault or rape the other person. Emotional abuse is also a form of violence. Threats, shouting, name-calling, and other verbal abuses are used to frighten and control the other person. To get help, you can always call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-7233. Again, I repeat, the National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. Now we will discuss an area that is normally avoided by people: children that are involved or affected by domestic violence. What children need to know: children know that fighting is going on, even if you think they don't. Denying it or not talking about it upsets children even more. Talk to them and let them know, or tell them you know how they feel. Tell them the fighting is not their fault. Tell them to stay out of the fighting. Talk about where they can hide inside the home, in a closet, under the bed, in a room that has a lock on the door. When they can hide outside the home, they can hide in a garage, a neighbor or friend's home. Tell them who they can go to for help: grandparents or other relatives, neighbors, friends, or even the police. Teach your child how to call 911. Practice what to say when they call. You can tell them, "Daddy is hitting mommy. We live at such and such a place," and tell them to tell the operator to hurry. Violence is against the law. If your partner hits you, consider reporting it to the police. The police can come to you or you can go to them. They will talk to you in person and file a report. If you have been injured, they may take pictures of your injuries. They may arrest your partner. The court may send him to counseling. Batterers can get help. There are therapy groups. Batterers must get professional help to stop their behavior, to stop the violence. They have to want to stop. Batterers must agree to weekly sessions in a therapy group for batterers for at least 1 year. Therapists trained in domestic violence lead these groups. They try to help batterers change their violent behavior. Alcohol and drug treatment programs. There are usually some in the community. Using alcohol and other drugs can add to violent behavior. But treatments for drug or alcohol abuse is not enough. A batterer must need to stop battering. If you remember our last broadcast, many of the men who committed murder were users of alcohol and illegal drugs. We hope this information helps. Next show, we are going to continue to talk about domestic violence. But we want now to discuss the subject again of self-esteem, because this is truly connected to domestic violence. That is the person who is receiving the battering, the person who's being beaten up, the person who is being called names. Not only does fear keep people in unhealthy relationships, lack of self-esteem also keeps people in unhealthy relationships. That's why the next two shows, this show and the next show, we are going to discuss self-esteem again. I am going to pause for a second to take a short break while you listen to information regarding willpower and encouragement. It is all a matter of learning new behaviors. And please remember, it is easier to build strong minds than to repair injured people. What I said is a modification of a quote by Frederick Douglass. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." Now,
what we need to focus on now is bringing positive energy into the world. The energy that we project every day is the same energy that we get back. We've all seen those people that can walk into a room and they glow. People want to be around them. people feel better being in their presence, that's the energy that we need to create. And once we learn how to do this, our life will be filled with greatness. We will attract that positive energy. And how we do this is by changing our outlook, leading every day with gratitude, thankfulness, optimism. And once you do this, you will see the change. I want you to take a moment and close your eyes. Think about everything positive in your life. Family, friends, a career, your faith. All of this is how you start your day. Every morning you wake up, I want you to think about what is positive in your life. I want you to list 10 reasons of why your life is amazing. And once you do this, you will see the change. You will be the change. You will begin to attract life's blessings. Lead with gratitude. Be thankful. And think positive.
Please pay close attention to this information because thousands and thousands and thousands of people suffer because of low self esteem. It is keeping them from winning, it's keeping them from being happy, and it's also keeping them from dealing with bullies in their lives. When you have low self esteem or negative self esteem, you put little value on your opinion or on your ideas. You focus on your weaknesses, what you perceive as weaknesses, and your thoughts, and you give little credit to your skills and assets. You believe that others are more capable or successful than you. You probably have difficulty in accepting positive feedback. You might fear failure, which can hold you back from exceeding at work or at school. When you have healthy self esteem, this means you have a balanced view of yourself. For instance, you have a good opinion of your abilities. You recognize your flaws, but you also recognize what you're good at doing. When self esteem is healthy and grounded in reality, it's hard to have too much of it. Boasting and feeling superior to others around you is not a sign of too much self esteem. It is more likely that you feel insecure and you have low self. You boast because you do not want people to recognize what you think are flaws in your personality. When you value yourself and have good self esteem, you feel secure and worthwhile. You have positive relationships with others and you feel confident about your abilities. You are also open to learning and open to feedback, which can help you acquire and master new skills. When you have healthy self esteem, you are assertive in expressing your needs and opinions. You're confident in your ability to make decisions. You are able to form secure and honest relationships and are less likely to stay in unhealthy relationships. You're realistic in your expectation and you are less likely to be overcritical of yourself or others. You are more resilient and are better able to weather stress and setbacks. Self esteem affects virtually every facet of your life. Maintaining a healthy, realistic view of yourself is not about blowing your own horn. It's about learning to like and respecting yourself, your flaws, and all. Please pay close attention to the next information. Low self esteem is a negative evaluation of oneself. This type of evaluation usually comes or occurs when some circumstance we encountered in our life touched on our sensitivities. We personalized the incident and experienced physical, emotional, and cognitive arousal. This is so alarming and confusing that we responded by acting in a self defeating and self-destructive manner. When that happens, our actions tend to be automatic and impulse driven. We feel upset, emotionally blocked, our thinking narrows, our self care deteriorates, we lose our sense of self, we focus on being in control and become self absorbed. Raising your self esteem is possible, but it requires that we grow as we face our fears and learn from our experiences. Some of this type of work will require you to see a psychotherapist. Do not reject the idea of a psychotherapist. Some of the things that you can do on your own is one is try to stop self-destructive behavior. One of the things is try to get rid of your addictions. Try to replace them with self-care. Practice self-care by joining self-help groups and practicing positive health care. Try to identify triggers that cause the feelings inside of yourself. Start paying attention to yourself. Watch how you respond to your thoughts. Acknowledge when you talk to yourself negatively. Give yourself a choice on how you want to respond. You have the right to identify what you like and what you truly do not like. You have the right to reject what you do not like and what you truly do not need for yourself. Do not have to be detached. You can confront the things in life that you do not like. If you do not like your job, then go back to school and change your situation. Be more assertive. Voice what you see, what you feel, and what you want to make occur. Start using statements beginning with the word I. By expressing your thoughts and feelings and desires in a direct and honest manner, you can show other people that you are changing your life. And finally, last but not least, remove the words if, can't, shouldn't, wouldn't, maybe, I might from your vocabulary. Remember, in an earlier broadcast, we discussed the word repetition. At that time, I told you that repetition was extremely important in learning. In other words, the more you recited things to yourself, the better off you would be in terms of learning that information that you wanted to learn. But what I did not tell you is that it has the opposite effect if you are giving yourself information that is negative. Then repetition works against you. Now, repetition is the secret to successful learning. The word repetition means to repeat. So this means every time you repeat something to yourself that is negative, you are learning. You are learning negativity. Repetition is a secret to successful learning. The word repetition means to repeat, which means that every time you repeat something negative to yourself, you are learning. You are learning something negative. The word repetition is a noun. It means the action of repeating something that has already been said or written. Also, the recurrence of an action or event, a thing repeated. A piece that was set by a teacher for you to learn by heart and to recite. As you can see, repetition is a great device to use with respect to learning. Say a single cycle of lifting and lowering a weight is called strength training and is also called a repetition. The military uses repetition to improve training and learning. You learn by repeating a word, a phrase, or a sentence. The repetition or restatement of an idea at intervals not only promotes clarity, but it encourages acceptance of an idea. Listen to me say this again. The repetition of an idea at intervals not only promotes clarity, but it encourages the acceptance of an idea. So telling yourself you are stupid over and over again reinforces your belief in this statement. When you repeat and emphasize one idea, competing ideas are subordinated and sometimes driven out completely of your mind. So by talking to yourself negatively, you are driving out all the positive thoughts of your mind. Does this make any sense to you? Do you see that you're acting counterproductive to yourself when you talk to yourself negatively? Repetition is a powerful force in learning. Notice how children are able to recite characters from a story that you have read to them over and over again. They can recite these words with great clarity. When words are repeated at short and long lags, and people are required to recall them, the probability of recall increases as the distance between the repetition increases. The most ancient and effective learning tool ever devised by man is the powerful principle of repetition. So if you're going to induce yourself to learn, then feed your mind positive information. Intentional repetition is a powerful tool. It can be used to make your point. Repetition works. Human beings somehow need to see, hear, and do things again and again in order to acquire any kind of growth or self improvement. Repetition is essential when it involves memorizing our multiplication table, learning to drive a car, or developing a six-pack of abs. So what are you going to do with this information I just gave you? We are going to repeat these ideas to give you a second and third chance to consider what we are saying. If you're going to induce yourself to learn, then feed your mind positive information. You must begin paying attention to the conversations that you are constantly having with yourself and others. Regurgitating the same phrases over and over again in your life causes you to live the same old life. Getting up in the morning, telling yourself it's going to rain, it will be one horrible day. Why would you do this to yourself? Why forecast gloom and doom into your life? You woke up. Why not be glad that you just woke up? How do you know it's going to be a horrible day? What special talents do you have to forecast your future? You're setting yourself up to be miserable just because it's raining. You are letting a natural occurrence control your behavior and your thought life. You can be offered a job on a rainy day. You can meet an old friend on a rainy day. You can have a wonderful lunch sitting by the ocean on a rainy day. Why close off your life with negative thinking? You can stop this type of behavior by realizing you are in control of what you think. And it is positive thinking that will change your life for the better. The world will send you downhill. The world will depress you. And the world will make you believe that your situation is hopeless. To fight all of the depressing things you are told every day, you must plant the words in your heart and prophesize health and wealth to yourself. You become overwhelmed with negative people in your life, leave them and do not allow them to return to your life. Stop calling them and stop answering their phone calls. Soon what you say will become what you will believe, and you will see the results of that belief in your life. You will hear yourself, I can do this. This is not such a big problem. I can go back to school and I can get a better job. What benefit do you derive from always telling yourself failure is right around the corner? What does it benefit you by telling yourself you cannot return to school, that you cannot apply for a better job? How does this benefit you by telling yourself you will never get married, that no woman will want to be your wife. Negativity benefits no one. You need to read You Are the Prophet of Your Life and turn your life around.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Renee stepping out on faith. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on the WHPR TV Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern.
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
This right here, this is the moment right before the day starts when you get to look in the mirror and tell yourself who you are. Now, you've been through some dark days. I believe that. But all that pain and struggle, that made the person you're looking at now. So when you walk out of these doors today, I need you to believe in yourself. I need you to believe you are the strongest person walking this planet. They don't know what you've been through. They don't know the grind it took for you to be here. So when you leave here today, I need you to show them. I can tell you, this will be the hardest thing you have ever experienced. That moment when you decide to risk everything to follow your dreams. But when you realize it is possible, that this is no longer a dream, this is a reality, you will change. The hustle will be born. But you need to believe in the process. Countless hours, sleepless nights, leaving nothing on the table, because we can't let this one fail. We won't let this one fail. We grind because we have to now. We push because we have to now. There is no wait for this dream. Every move is calculated, every decision is planned and executed. You've got one shot to make this count. No room for regrets in this life. We dream big, we push big, we grind big, we live big. So tell me, are you dreaming or are you pushing?
Twice a month on Saturday, I meet with my listeners for a discussion about issues affecting women. Join us. For dates, times, and directions, you can reach us at murderedvoices@gmail.com. Stop thinking there's nothing you can do to change the world. Your life is important. For more information on our books or subjects discussed, email us at murderedvoices@gmail.com.
Domestic violence is the reason why you need to sit down and have a heart to heart talk with yourself before you enter into any relationship with any man or woman. You need to seriously consider the life that you want to live. You need to consider the job that you want. You need to consider the house that you want. You need to consider the bank account that you want. You need to consider everything. Why? Because your life depends on the conversations that you have with yourself. How you live or die can quite literally depend on the people that you bring into your life. People influence our thoughts. Therefore, before you bring a man or woman into your life as a friend, you need to know something about how this person thinks and problem solve, and you really need to know their values. When you select a person as a friend, that means you are going to rely upon their comments, suggestions, or advice. You are not going to have this friendship in a vacuum. They're going to become an integral part of your life. They are going to influence your life, good or bad, and they will influence your decision making. Some friends can keep you from developing other relationships. They can keep you from forming alliances at work or play. They can lie to you and keep you from becoming involved with other people. They can whisper untruths in your ear against other people that truly do not mean you any harm. One so-called friend can be just as deadly as a stranger. This is why you need to always evaluate who you bring into your life. And if God takes someone from your life, do not drag them back into your life. Consequently, if you bring someone into your life who is not wise, who makes poor decisions, they live in a mediocre life, a person who is not striving toward a goal, a person who is committing adultery, a person who is using illicit drugs, a person who rarely works, a person who is living off his girlfriend or mother, then you have made a bad decision for a friend. Friends can get you killed, especially if they lie and cheat other people. Before you become romantically entangled with a man, you need to investigate him thoroughly. I mean, even go so far as to interview his old girlfriends. If you listened during my last show, when we discussed men who were executed in this country for murdering their wives, you would have heard me say that during several of the trials, prosecutors had the ex-girlfriend testify how these men treated them before they murdered their wives. Check and see if this man has a history of violence. The old girlfriend does not have to know who you are. Also, take a look at his mother. Notice how she treats her husband, which is your boyfriend's father. Notice violence in her behavior. Again, notice any violence in her behavior, including bullying. Take a look at all the family members when they are not watching. Notice how they live, notice how they pay their bills, notice where they work and how they play and the friends that are in their lives. Your prospective boyfriend is a product of the relationships that he has with other members in his family. Please stop jumping into bed with the first man you meet just because he tells you you're cute. Some of the best advice is found in this saying, look before you leap. Take a fool's advice and listen to everything that I have told you today. It is too late once you are locked inside a home with a man prone to violence who is hollering and screaming at you for you to start telling yourself what you should have done. It is possible to avoid poor relationships by taking your time and not jumping into bed with the first man that attracts you. Once you have sex with a man, he thinks he owns you, and I mean literally so. So before you date a man, learn something about him. He does not have to pick you up at your home. You can drive your own car to a date. So if the date does not end well, you can always take yourself home. Please look before you leap into bed. Think. God gave you a brain, use it. Think. To summarize, for a person to be at risk of brainwashing, it is necessary that at least one of the following characteristics are met. The victim has low self esteem. The victim has been physically or sexually abused. The victim struggles with drug and alcohol dependency. The victim lives in poverty. The victim has little or no legal protection. Once the trafficker detects one or several of these vulnerabilities in his objective, he or she will seize any available opportunity to seek out the potential victim, including in person tactics at malls, bus stops, walking to and from school, and outside of group homes. Keep in mind this information as we continue to discuss those men and women arrested and convicted of sex trafficking. This insidious behavior must be stopped. We must all participate in the prevention of sex trafficking. This activity is destroying our nation. God bless, and remember, believe in yourself and stand up. Thank you for listening to Women of Courage, and have a great day.